Hey guys, welcome back to the BuzWeaver channel, and we have some breaking news on this Wednesday, August the 4th, from CNN Politics. Biden shows he's ready to make drastic moves in C-19 fight, even if he's not sure they're legal. Even President Joe Biden doesn't know whether his new federal eviction moratorium for renters is legal and sustainable. But crushing humanitarian and political pressure left him no choice but to take a chance on an emergency move. Really. Remember what we heard during the Trump administration about how the administration was fascist, heavy-handed, authoritarian, or maybe not so much authoritarianism, but certainly fascist. Yet here we have a president who's not sure they're legal. Does he not have a staff? Does he not have handlers? Does he not have experts that surround him? Or are we really looking at, as we have always suspected, an establishment-appointed surrogate president who does exactly what the establishment says? Because if you've noticed, maybe this week, maybe you can tell me, maybe you can show me where this has become a critical issue. Now, I empathize with anyone who has an apartment or rents a home. I understand. It's a difficult time right now financially, and I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that Biden has made some very poor choices. The administration has made poor choices, but more importantly, the establishment is looking after itself, and we're seeing this kind of just collapse and wreck of our economy and our society as this continues. And if you guys think this is bad now, wait till we get closer to the midterms in 2022. And wait till we get closer to 2024 with the presidential election. It's going to mount. And this is a very, I understand the situation. I feel for both the renters and I feel for the landlords, particularly the landlords, because they're people too. This is their business. This is their livelihood. Many of them kind of inherited these buildings or houses and homes. And of course, they're having to maintain them. They have to pay the property taxes. They have to pay sometimes the utilities even for the people who are renting. Sometimes the landlords will give the renters a break and maybe pay their utilities or pay their water or pay their garbage service. Or most of the times they do pay the garbage service and stuff. But nonetheless, I can empathize. But the idea that the president is going to be making decisions that aren't even legal should be very concerning. What's equally as concerning this particular week as the COVID, I'm trying to find the words to really describe it without violating any of the YouTube AI, which is why it sounds kind of weird and stammered and kind of as though I'm struggling. But here we have this from the New York Post. Dem strategist blasted for tweet about COVID stricken Lindsey Graham. So Lindsey Graham earlier this week, tweeted, "I was just informed by the House physician I have tested positive for C-19 even after being vaccinated. I started having flu-like symptoms on Saturday night and went to the doctor this morning." Well, a chief strategist from Rhode Island said, or is being slammed for her tasteless tweet about South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham, who had revealed that he contracted C-19 despite being vaccinated. This is not particularly new or unusual from the left, who has a great deal of hate, a great deal of animosity, a great deal of darkness within themselves as they continue to go after President Trump. And of course, for 4 years, we saw the creation of the wokeness, cancel culture, and outrage mob. And this is where we are today with this day-to-day point scoring. So Kate says, "It's wrong to hope he dies from COVID, right? Asking for a friend." Well, she did get a lot of flack, but when I checked Twitter, she still has an account. Here she is. "I made a mistake. I used poor judgment, which I obviously regret." Why? Why do you regret it? You're on Twitter. You're posting. The left hasn't come after you. Cancel culture hasn't come after you. The outrage mob hasn't come after you. You're right here on Twitter. Well, I see 3,000 comments with a 209 retweet and 44 likes. So what's the deal? What's the problem? You're still on here. I mean, President Trump can't be on here. There are members this week like Marjorie Taylor Greene and others who've been suspended for a week. We've seen many conservatives and people on the right and Republicans suspended from Twitter from far less than this. But nonetheless, of course, She's protected by Team Left, and so she continues to be on Twitter. But of course, this is very concerning because we have the midterms next year. And as I've mentioned here before, if the Democrats can't pass the For the People Act, which is the federal voting laws, then we could probably see a pandemic 2.0 lockdown. It's quite possible that we're heading to lockdown right now, because if Lindsey Graham is coming out and saying, that he's been vaccinated and he's contracted C-19 and, of course, the Delta variant, this could be the direction we're going in. And then, of course, earlier this week, which I'm covering on the Friday vlog, we learned about Andrew Cuomo. And I think the only reason that we heard this story about Cuomo is because Team Democrat doesn't want to be associated with someone who made decisions during the time of the pandemic that led to thousands of people's death. Because remember, Cuomo was the counter to President Trump. President Trump was getting a lot of attention. His approval rating was going up, and the Democrats needed an answer, so they brought out Cuomo every single day, and he completely dropped the ball. And so now they got a Me Too Cuomo because he's on Team Democrat, and they can't have someone who's responsible for thousands of people's death on Team Democrat. Nonetheless, guys, this is a very interesting time that we are in. You are welcome to share this video so that people can discover the fact that we have Democrats who can make extraordinarily dark-hearted, mean-spirited tweets and still remain on Twitter, to no surprise to anyone at all. But here we are, guys. This was some breaking news today that I wanted to bring to you guys. And I want to thank all of you for the continued support, the likes, the shares, and the comments. Been trying to just create content out throughout the week to kind of just keep you guys engaged and to reach a newer audience of people out there, as it looks like some of the alternative tech sites are starting to work again, which is quite nice, which is a whole other story. But nonetheless, guys, I want to thank all of you for your continued support. If you haven't already, avail yourselves to my social media links below this video so you can see my daily post. And of course, if you're following here on Twitter, if you're following me here on YouTube, that will be the channel icon appearing right there on the screen to subscribe. You can click on that to subscribe, as well as select notifications if you want to know when there's content here on the channel, as well as the Friday vlog, which I worked on today, so you guys will know. And I will see you guys in the next video.